$3,600. Actually, to be specific, $3,625 is what I paid for these two lovely little Priority Mail flat rate boxes here. That's right, I recently did a fairly large deal with a viewer who reached out via email who had some pretty high dollar collection items to sell me, and that is what the topic of this video is going to be. I'm going to open these puppies up, inspect the condition, and tell you guys a little bit why I paid what I paid, because I think the contents of these boxes may surprise some of you, and I want to give you a little inside look into some of my reasoning of why I paid what I paid for this deal, because I hope that it will be instructive for some of you, or maybe others of you will just like to disagree with me in the comments. We can have a little constructive conversation that way, but without further ado, let's get into these boxes right here. As I'm opening this up here, I should give a friendly shout out to the viewer himself named Tan. Thanks a bunch for this deal. And if any of you guys also have collections or higher dollar items that you are looking to sell but don't really want to deal with eBay or Amazon or whatever, you are welcome to reach out to me as well on Instagram or email. All of that info is in my description below. But here is the first peek at the items in this box. Looks like they are all individually bubble wrapped, which is what I like to see. And as you guys can probably tell, we are looking at a bundle of new 3DS, well, not like new, but like brand new 3DS consoles, some of which are the new 3DSs, some are not. But what they do all have in common is that they are all pretty rare variant. When I'm opening up high dollar stuff like this, I do always like to be as sparing as I can with the box cutter, because the last thing that I want to do is put a nice little slice into one of these puppies. So the first two consoles that we have are the Fire Emblem Fates Edition new 3DS XLs. How many of you guys have ever actually seen one of these out in the wild before? I know that this one in particular is one that is new to me, so I was really happy to see these two on the list. The cheapest one of these listed on eBay right now is $685, I believe, with sold comps in that neighborhood as well in brand new condition. And these are not actually sealed, so for good measure, we're going to go ahead and open it up, take a little peek inside. Yeah, pretty much as expected here. We have all of the, still wrapped up in plastic manual and inserts and stuff there with an AR card, as well as a nicely packaged console as well. He did also send some very thorough pictures of these ahead of time. So I was able to see there's some pretty minor box wear, if I can get the camera to capture that, on corners and stuff like that, just a few dings. But luckily nothing super major, and I think that is going to be the trend with almost all of these systems. Up next, we've got the good old Pikachu Edition new 3DS XL. This box is actually in super minty shape. Some very minor dings there on the front, but all the edges are really crispy. This is another one that is also in the $600 range in brand new condition, and one that I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up a little bit in price given the crazy Pokemon hype, but the 3DS spike in general has definitely helped the values of these consoles as a whole for sure. Up next, we've got the Monster Hunter Generations new 3DS XL. This has got to be easily one of the coolest that we have seen so far. Check out the design on that, and the blue is just so different from what we're really used to seeing with the XLs. I like this design a lot. And I did want to say, as I'm opening up this next one, for anybody who's watching who is interested in purchasing these, they will be available on my eBay store at some point. So a lot of the stuff that I buy and sell on this channel does go straight to Amazon and is not ultimately available for viewers. But what I'll probably do with these is post them first to my Instagram, and then they will eventually be on eBay. So the link to that is always in the description if you guys want to check that out if you are interested. This one does unfortunately have a little bit of wear on the box. There's a slight crease here This, by the way, is the Solgaleo and Lunala Pokemon New 3DS XL. Got a little crease right there and just a little bit of like bending and like whiting kind of on the edge there. Otherwise, I mean, there's no like actual crushing or big creasing on the edges or anything of the box. Really nice design. I like the black on this one. And speaking of Pokemon, check this out. I don't know, have I showed this off on a video yet? I got this custom-made 1/1 Pokemon hat from a account that I follow on Instagram called Hypadelic. This is actually made out of some Pokemon sheets that I had in the 90s. I saw this, absolutely had to pay up for it because it has a big old Poliwhirl on the side. Thought you guys would enjoy that given my affinity for Poliwhirl. Looks like the lowest one of these that is listed is also at the $650 mark, so definitely an expensive little handheld here. Alrighty, box number 2 here. We've got a whole bunch of other gems. So up next, this one is probably the lowest dollar one of the bunch at, I'd say probably like $350 or so in new condition. That is the Super Mario 3D Land DS XL Regular. The reason is, this isn't really like a special edition, it's more of like a box variant, just the black version. It's something that I'll probably honestly just throw on Amazon. This one may actually not be publicly available. I know I just said that they all would, but this one might just be easier for Amazon, and I think it'll sell relatively quick that way. Then we've got a couple of regular new 3DSs. I can't remember how many other variants they made of just the new 3DS rather than the XL, but we've got the white and the black Mario versions here. Again, not super high end on these. I think one sold recently for like $475, but then another one sold for like $600 in new condition, so not really sure what to believe on these. But it does look like both of the boxes are in at least pretty good shape. There is a little bit of whiting right here on the top of that edge as well as the bottom down here. So that's unfortunate to see, but again, that was all clear in the pictures ahead of time. And then finally, the one that we have all been waiting for, actually you haven't been waiting for it because I didn't even hint that it was in this lot, is the Pokemon 20th Anniversary new 3DS. It's got interchangeable plates for Charizard and Blastoise. If you guys haven't seen this before, it is an absolutely beautiful handheld. I don't think I've ever actually flipped one of these before. In loose condition, these things are going for over $300, and in brand new condition, it varies a lot. I've seen them sell for $800 like a couple months ago, on up to, I think the highest one was like $1,600. These are becoming very hot commodities, especially we're now in the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and it's just like a really well-designed, good-looking 3DS. So I understand why people are really wanting to get their hands on it, and best of all, it's in really nice shape. So I really do love to see that. Whew, gotta take that off, it's getting hot in here. So I know what some of you may be thinking. Hold on a second, Caleb. On collection buys and larger deals like this, don't you normally try to get about double your money after fees and shipping and everything? Isn't this going to be significantly less than that? I'm doing some math in my head. It doesn't seem to add up. And that's a very astute question, my faithful viewer, because on this lot, I'm only supposed to make about 30 to, on the high end, maybe 60% return on my investment. So doubling my money would be 100% ROI. This is only like 30 to 60% ROI. But let me tell you why I was actually still willing to do this deal even at that percentage return. Now, if you were counting along with me, we have a total of 9 items in this $3,600 deal. Why does that actually matter? Because normally when I'm doing deals like this, it involves dozens, if not sometimes hundreds of items. As a solo reseller, one thing that is constantly on my mind is how can I spend my time the most effectively? Obviously, on a couple hundred items, it's going to take me far longer to process and get that all out the door. than it is on 9. And on these items in particular, they're going to be extremely easy to list, and if I price them right, I think I can get them to sell quite quickly, especially with the current 3DS hype. A lot like this, I could probably get listed and shipped if it were all to sell within the span of like a morning. So if you assume with me for just a second that we only make a 30% return on our $3,600 spent. And keep in mind, this is net. So I don't want to hear anybody in the comments saying, oh, Caleb, but what about the 13 to 15% you're gonna have to pay in eBay fees? And what about paying USPS to ship the stuff? And you might wanna get insurance on those packages. This is net, people. This is what I am taking home in my pocket. At a 30% ROI, that would leave me just under $1,200 in profit on this deal. And in my book, since this is not inventory I'm going to have to sit on for a long time, and I'm able to list it so quickly, being able to make $1,000 or more on the low end and doing about 4 to 6 hours work total, from everything from appraising the collection and doing the communications to getting it. I'm not going to count shooting this video, but getting everything listed and shipped once it sells. To me, that is a very good return on my time invested. And especially because all of this stuff is new in the box and I'm gonna take really good pictures of it and everything, the probability of getting returns on this stuff is also extremely low. On the high end, if I'm able to make around $1,800, maybe do some Instagram sales and avoid fees or things like that, that would be excellent, but I would be totally fine with taking my $1,200 to the bank. Now, keep in mind, people, that this kind of a deal is not necessarily for everyone. I'm personally at a point right now in my business career where I can front this kind of cash and it's not going to be a detriment to my bankroll, to my cash flow. I'm still going to be able to take advantage of other deals if they come along. But if you are early on, I highly recommend doing a lot of sourcing at yard sales and thrift stores, maybe with friends and family, to find the kind of deals where you can 5 or even 10x your money that you're putting in, because building up that capital, that cash flow for your business and being able to reinvest it in things that you need, like softwares or tools or a label printer or more inventory or whatever, is going to be your #1 priority. But I do encourage those resellers who have been at it for a while and who have a steady and robust cash position to start considering how you can possibly do larger deals, even if you have to sacrifice on your margins a little bit. This is something that I've been preaching pretty consistently through a lot of my videos because it's just a lesson that I've continuously been relearning myself. And I just really like sharing things that I am learning in my business with all of you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. I always try to be exceptionally open about the financial aspects of my business. I think that's ultimately what has been most helpful for me in my journey, seeing other people do that. So that's something that I'm trying to emulate myself. I hope that in the long term, this channel becomes known as one of just radical candor, and one that just doesn't really pull any punches with people. If I'm able to, I would love to, in some form, it probably won't be a full follow-up video because I don't really do those, they don't really perform very well, but I would love to give you some sort of an update on how these are selling. Maybe it will just be in the form of, an Instagram story or something like that. But I would love in some way or form to keep you guys abreast of how this large deal is shaking out. Folks, thanks so much for coming along for this journey. Appreciate you guys as always. And until next time, I will catch you all on the flip.